Hi everyone, I'm Jess and I'm the content manager here at Course Report. Course Report is the resource for helping people find the right coding bootcamps for them. You can use the Course Report website to research the best coding bootcamps all over the world, as well as insights on which coding languages to learn, where to apply, and how to fund your coding bootcamp experience. Today, I'm speaking with two BrainStation alumni who are also the winning team of BrainStation's first Stay At Home Hackathon in partnership with Microsoft. But first, let me introduce two of the winning team members. Jung Oh graduated from BrainStation's UX Design full-time diploma program and now works as a product designer at Smart Infrastructure Maintenance Applications, Inc. And Nick Mahon graduated from BrainStation's Data Science full-time diploma program. Nick and Jung, thank you so much for speaking with me today. Before I have you share your screen so we can dive into what you built for the hackathon, I would love to know a little bit more about your backgrounds and why you ended up choosing BrainStation. So Nick, what inspired you to enroll in BrainStation's Data Science Bootcamp?
Well, honestly, I did a lot of coding while in school, even though it wasn't part of like my main degree. I did it like kind of on the side. So I thought the data science program was a great way for me to kind of dive deeper into Python and use it to kind of utilize the data that's available all over the world in a more focused way and get some training on it. So I'm very happy I did that.
And Jung, why did you want to make a career switch from community planning to UX design with BrainStation's UX Design Bootcamp?
Yeah, I have to admit, I didn't have too much guidance growing up. And so I was kind of at a loss as to what I wanted to do and figuring out my future. And so all I kind of knew was that I wanted to make cool things and have an impact. And at first I thought I could do that through urban planning. But as I spent some time in that industry, it didn't quite feel that way. I was going through Instagram, posted something about his job, which was in the UX industry. And so I asked him a couple questions about that. And then it ended up that we actually met up for a coffee chat. And he told me a lot about it and it sounded really great. So things kind of lined up and that's kind of what initiated me to switch. So, yeah.
So your team's project was chosen as the winner of BrainStation's Stay At Home Hackathon. So congrats on that. And I'd love for you to share your screen with me so we can just walk through the project you built. So Jung, what was the problem you were asked to solve in the Stay At Home Hackathon, and how much time were teams given to actually build their projects?
Nick, feel free to correct me, but I believe we were given 3 days to complete this solution end to end. And the problem that we were asked to solve was pretty general again. Teams were asked to look at the situation in which people had been forced to work work at home due to the pandemic, and to identify these, or I guess further define these problems and then create solutions to them. So it's a bit hard to say it in like one word, but it is an app, or I would say it's an app that you could use on your computer, installed on your computer, and it's kind of monitoring you in a way, but in like a very passive, non-intrusive way. It's essentially trying to collect data and give you more insights about your work habits and so it's basically something you would install on your desktop, for example. I can go over to my screen here and show you what kind of we came up with here. So I'll go over my my lo-fis first, which is just like a very simple draft, if you will, of what we want to create. So we have our simple login screen. And then over here we have our dashboard. And so to give you a bit of context about this, I guess the features that we wanted to incorporate as a result of kind of further defining our problem space was to provide productivity measuring, productivity goal setting, posture tracking, virtual work together sessions, kind of like we determined that working together, it really created a synergy and reinforced kind of productive work habits. And so we wanted to create a digital version of that, or a virtual version. So that was one of our goals as well. And to kind of incorporate the data piece and the computer vision piece of it all, we also used computer vision to track how many times you pick up your phone, and then it would kind of give you statistics about that, and also notify you every time you did that, so you're consciously aware of how many times you were doing that, and to kind of change your behavior that way, right? So I think it might make a little more sense once we start going over the designs here, right? So if you look at over here, it says leaderboards. So there's actually like a comparison, like a social aspect to it, where you're able to compare your productivity levels to your friends and kind of make you more motivated that way. And then you'll see today's goals. Like we said, if you want to really hammer something out, you can, set a goal for the 5-day work week and say, you know what, I want to achieve an 80% rate of productivity throughout my day. And so that the program would help you achieve that. If you want to take a nap, it would tell you, nah, man, pretty sure, like, you got this goal to achieve, right? But again, you know what, we took into consideration the health of the user as well, right? So I have it highlighted over here, 5 water breaks, and that's to remind the user to, sometimes get up, get the blood circulating, drink some water, because that's very important, actually, we found throughout our research, to your productivity. So there's multiple angles to it. Over here, you can see the chart that kind of identifies your progress in terms of how productive you've been throughout your week, your month, for example, maybe even your year. And there's also your contacts to the bottom right here, so that you could perhaps call a friend, do what we're doing right now, and then perhaps bounce ideas off of each other, or work together and share screens, so that you're able to keep each other accountable, for example.
And Nick, how was Microsoft, since this was in partnership with Microsoft, how was Microsoft involved in this hackathon?
So Microsoft, they had a whole bunch of mentors for us to kind of talk to. There's 3 of them. Throughout the whole process, if you had any questions, they were always there, as well as they kind of laid down the guidelines of all the stuff we'd be doing. And they really made sure that everyone was having fun. So they'd have like little mini games throughout the day where, you could play, to keep keep everyone's morale up, keep everyone having fun. And, they really did a good job in making sure we had all the resources. And they did give us hints, though, to try and relate it back to Microsoft. So whatever apps or any creation we had, try to make it so that it'd be compatible with the Microsoft Teams app that they have. That, people are already using it while they're working at home. So they did a good job of making sure everyone was having fun, as I said.
And Nick, your hackathon team was composed of both data science grads and UX design grads. So how did these 2 different bootcamp grads like collaborate remotely?
It's interesting because the data science team, in any project, that's the very first step, is gathering your data. Well, UX and most projects is the very last step, to make sure everything is functional, working nice. But the way we work together, and I think it worked really well, is that we just had a lot of discussions about what we wanted from this app, or from our idea, and made sure that everyone's voices were heard, so that no one didn't have a job and no one was sitting around. We really found a project that incorporated a very heavy amount of data science, as well as a good portion of UX to come together to make a very good app. So I think the communication was very key in our success.
That's awesome. And Jung, on your side of it, since, like I mentioned, data scientists and UX designers all on the same team for this project, what did you find were like the strengths of having data scientists and UX designers working together?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was great to have different discipline kind of be a part of our team, because UX designers inherently are kind of required to work together with various stakeholders. So that was great. And I'd say the greatest strength that we leveraged out of having Nick and Ali was really their ability to provide that perspective of insight, really. And I think that's what set us above kind of the competition, because we were able to ask Ali and Nick, what insights are you guys able to draw from this raw collection of data? Because to us it may seem meaningless, but to Nick and Ali, they see valuable information there. They're able to tease that out. So that's how we really kind of came to the conclusion that computer vision was the right way to go, because otherwise we wouldn't have really considered that aspect. We would have definitely gone in a different direction.
Okay. Cool. And let's actually jump into the computer vision data science portion of this project. So Nick, if you would like to share your screen with us now, so we can take a look at that. All right. So walk us through what was sort of the data science portion, the computer vision portion of this.
So the computer vision portion for Ali and myself was just kind of make sure that what we were trying to do with this app was actually possible. So we made like a proof of concept, as you can see, of something that could, pick up objects on the screen. And relating it back to FocusBuddy, the whole point was that, if you want someone to focus and you want to give them reminders and, keep them on track, whenever they pick up their phone or anything, you want to make sure that you can actually see that, there's a phone. So this is a little bit buggy, but as you can see, like it'll tell you if it's a cell phone, or if it tells you to have a water break and, you pick up your water bottle, you can see that. It is actually doing all these things, and you can keep track and give them points for all the different things that they're doing. So it was a lot of fun working with the computer vision, because while we were at BrainStation, we actually focused on just still images. So learning how to use the video images is a little bit different, but it was a lot of fun, and the end product was really good. So
that's so cool. Did you use computer vision or learn about it at BrainStation, or was this something for this hackathon challenge you just really wanted to try?
Well, we learned something very similar, which is image analysis, but it's a very similar concept, but you just have to we had to do a little bit of digging on the internet and to kind of learn how to work with moving images. So as things change around, the basics are very similar, but to get the final product, it took a little bit of research. But as we said, like BrainStation teaches you so much within the 3 months that it's not that hard to pick up on the extra things you want to learn with data science.
And did your team use any other technologies in order to build this project?
Yeah, so for Ali and myself, it was mainly Python, and Ali used his own stuff as well, because there's a commercial for our product, so he did a lot of other things, like Photoshop and different things like that.
But in terms of the UX side, I'd say Sketch is what we mainly used, along with InVision, to kind of prototype our very brief mock-up. And we didn't use too much else, because it was a very short hackathon, and so there's you got to make your minimum viable product, right? So it definitely isn't as fleshed out as we'd like it to be.
Well, this looks so cool to me. I would love to know, what was your team's biggest challenge while building this project? I'll start with you, Jung. Do you feel like there was one thing that stuck out?
I would say, you know what, I find this to be the hardest part of any UX design challenge, is really defining the problem so that you can create the right solution for it. That is the biggest challenge that we faced, or as UX designers we faced, in my opinion. But Nick, what do you think?
No, I think I have to completely agree with you defining the problem, because I remember during the hackathon, we took the entire first day coming up with exactly what it is, exactly the problem it is that we wanted to solve. So, like what our actual product was going to do. and what it was addressing. Because throughout the entire day, we had so many different ideas going back and forth, and we really honed in on the perfect one. And I think we didn't have our idea set until the second day. And that's when we all started working away on our individual parts.
And during this hackathon, did the BrainStation instructors help you at all, or were there like Microsoft, specifically like the Microsoft Teams staff helping you?
So for us, I think if we had questions, we could come to them, but it was more so of a, hackathon, go off, do your own thing. And if you have questions, you can always come back. And
Nick, so how did this hackathon experience improve your own career development as a new data scientist?
I think the biggest takeaway from this was working with UX and kind of seeing how data science is intertwined with pretty much everything else. Because if you don't know what it is you're doing, or you don't have the right questions to ask, or you don't even know who it is that you're working with, you won't be able to kind of utilize all the tools we have available to data scientists to their full effect, So it was nice working with the UX guys and, coming up with the right questions and working together to make our final product.
And I'd love to know too, if like, Nick, at the end of this, if you've like added this to your own like resume portfolio, if this is like something that you'll look back on as like sort of like a new sort of capstone piece.
Yeah, 100%. This is definitely added to the resume, because I think it's important to show like who you are and what you enjoy doing. And I've thoroughly enjoyed this hackathon and coming up with all the ideas. And as stressful as it was, it really was also very relaxed at the pace we took everything. Like no one was yelling at each other or anything like that. It was always very courteous as to, what everyone wanted to do and how you wanted to do it. Everyone was very respectful, and it was definitely something I had to put on the resume, because we made a fantastic product, and this is something I'm so proud of. I'd like to share it. Yeah, it's honestly, it's something I've had a couple of interviews, and something that people are pretty eager to hear about as I kind of put it on my resume, because when you see a hackathon, the first question is, okay, like, what did you do in this hackathon? What did you enjoy? What were the steps that you took? Who did you work with? So it's been a very good conversation piece.
And Jung, what are you working on today as a product designer?
So I work at a very small early stage startup right now as the only designer on the team. And so that's been an interesting experience because I'm essentially leading the end-to-end design process for several products that we're making and that we're trying to ship to market. And so had to hit the ground running, but it's been great.
I also love to know too, like, how did you find this job, especially with the crazy year that we've had and people just graduating from boot camps?
Yeah, for sure. So this is a question, it's the question that most people are probably interested in, but I don't have a good answer, to be honest. I've asked a lot of similar questions to a lot of designers that I admire and that I kind of want to get shoulder to shoulder with. But it's like they always say, everyone has a different path, and so I don't think there's any one specific way to do it. But my story goes that I got a referral for a job by somebody who works at Uber Eats, and that didn't work out. And so I actually, my friend from back in high school, he saw my portfolio, and he was actually starting a startup. And so this is kind of like how it worked out. Yeah, we connected through LinkedIn, like we met up, had coffee, did like a small interview, and it just, the stars aligned, I guess.
I love hearing that though, because LinkedIn, I think people are always like, is it worth it to keep your LinkedIn profile up to date or like do any kind of networking on LinkedIn? But obviously in your case, it seems like it was a great idea.
Yeah. And honestly, it can get a bit tiring just constantly posting on LinkedIn. So I wouldn't advise that for anybody who's trying to transition. But definitely kind of posting here and there, posting really relevant things, I would say, is what matters most, for sure. Also using Twitter and whatnot, because a lot of designers are in that space. So
And Jung, at this point, do you feel like BrainStation and going to your boot camp was worth it for you? Like, are you glad you went down this route and made a career change now into UX design?
No, BrainStation was one of the biggest purchases I've made in my life, and so I take this question pretty seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I think the BrainStation UX program can be improved in a lot of ways, but I also think the course did a great job of directing me in the right way to set myself up to be accepting or know what to kind of look for in terms of how to get better, right? Because the Dunning-Kruger effect, you don't know what you don't know. So BrainStation definitely provides a great foundation for you to go out and be able to further your knowledge in the industry. So I'm very thankful to BrainStation for that. And I think another thing is that they also provide a really good network for you to become a part of, right? Because all of your peers that you join the course with, those are additional nodes in the network that that could potentially provide you opportunities, right? So to sum it up, I guess, it was quite pricey, but it was definitely worth it.
And Nick, what about you? Would you recommend a data science bootcamp to a friend or anybody that you knew who was considering switching into data science?
Honestly, I'd say yeah, just in the sense that, as Jung said, they do provide a very, very good foundation, and you get a little bit of everything when you start the program, and when you finish it, you know so much more than you did before you started. But there's so much to learn when it comes to data science that the program itself could be much longer. Like it could go from 3 months to 6 months, and how much there actually is out there for you to learn. Because as I said, you only have about like 2 weeks per topic, and you can only learn so much in 2 weeks, and they can only teach you so much in 2 weeks. So after the program's done, there definitely is a lot to learn, a lot to study up on, but I would recommend it because, it's a huge step in the right direction. And, in the time that I've graduated, I feel like I've read so many books that you could almost say that I've learned the same amount as I did then as now, but I wouldn't have known how to learn any of this stuff if I never attended BrainStation. So it is a very good experience.
And that's an excellent place to wrap up this hackathon project spotlight. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today, Jung and Nick. We will be posting a recording and a transcript of this video interview on the Course Report blog with contact information for BrainStation, just in case you're interested in applying for one of their upcoming cohorts. And thank you so much to all of you for watching. Tweet at us, email us, and let us know which topic you'd like us to see cover on the next Course Report blog. And in the meantime, follow Course Report on Facebook and Twitter. And if you're a bootcamp alumni, don't forget to post a review of your bootcamp experience on Course Report. Your review is a huge help to anyone thinking of getting into tech now.